CrossFit is evolving, but where is it going? In this episode, I'll share with you what I see having been in here since the early days of CrossFit up to now, what's changing and where are we going? Tune in and take notes.
Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we hear and learn from our coaches, CrossFitters, and Glen Ed community leaders. Now, here are your hosts, Dallas and Greg.
Guys, I've been in the CrossFit space since the 2000s, and that's a hot minute. So you fast forward today, I've been here almost 2 decades, and CrossFit has evolved a lot since those early days. Some of the changes are for the better. Some of the changes probably for the worse. And in this episode, I'm going to kind of tell you what I see in terms of the evolution of CrossFit, in terms of, its direction, how it's changed. I'm going to give you that insider scoop in this episode. So let's get started. I need to start first with CrossFit's evolution so far, because if you're newer to CrossFit, you may not know the history of it. CrossFit started as a rebellion against traditional gym culture. It was very like middle finger to the traditional gym experience where everything is highly segmented. We do our upper body, bodybuilding stuff on the one day. We do our cardio stuff in a completely separate training session. When CrossFit came along, it was this entirely revolutionary perspective, a minimalist, high-intensity training program that took the best of all fitness worlds, the best of weightlifting, the best of monostructural or cardio stuff, the best of body weight or gymnastics stuff, and put it together in this one big, wild, crazy, revolutionary, different mixed modal program that it was on the outside. I can look at it and you can clearly see this is different. It's not boring. It's a way different way of approaching fitness. And it sparked a movement that attracted a lot of people, myself included, to try this out because it was way more exciting and possibly way more effective than what was being doing. So in the 2010s, it exploded into this global movement with the CrossFit Games as the pinnacle, and it sparked thousands of affiliates worldwide. And in those times, it was like there was CrossFit gyms popping up everywhere. Because at the time, it was so easy to start one and so easy to succeed as one, because people were just flocking to the CrossFit gym to try out this hot new thing. Now, there was some definite change that happened around 2020 when Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit, exited the program, exited the leadership. He sold out his interest, and so other folks took over, and CrossFit became more corporately owned by shareholders. And there was an emphasis on health a bit more than was before, inclusivity and affiliate support a bit more than was before. And to those of you guys who remember, CrossFit actually deactivated its Instagram account for the CrossFit Games. It's almost like they pulled the plug on the CrossFit Games overnight. There was no more regionals overnight. The whole thing shifted roughly around 2020. A lot of it associated with the pandemic, but it kind of created this almost, for a minute, there was an existential crisis in the CrossFit space about like, is CrossFit going to survive some scandals that came up that were related to Greg Glassman saying some really ill-advised, dumb things that reflected poorly on a lot of us. So fast forward to now, to today, Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit, has started this new thing called MetFix, which is a nutrition first, focused, intensity exercise second, focused alternative or derivative or cousin of CrossFit. And it's got like a lot of people in the space raising their eyebrows. What is this all about? If you even know about it, it's at least got you curious, right? So I will say that even at our gym over the years, we've felt many shifts in thought process and clientele and the focus of the community. Our programming has evolved. People now prioritize different goals. There's new tools in the mix to help you get the most out of CrossFit. So for the next piece of this, I'm going to talk about what's happening right now in the CrossFit space, some trends, right? So first of all, programming has shifted. There's often different tracks that we notice in CrossFit programming or CrossFit spaces now, where maybe there's a more performance-based track, there's a more longevity-based track, a more functional bodybuilding-based track. And you see this pop up across the board with tons and tons of derivative programs. Like, I think it's Marcus Philly is the one that started the functional bodybuilding thing. And some of the key programming houses have a performance-based CrossFit track, and they have more of like a bare bones, body weight only, health and fitness-based fitness track. More individualization and more tailoring in the programming is something that we have definitely seen as an evolution over the years, and it's definitely going on right now. Also related to that, there's a lot more tech in CrossFit now than there was before. I'm wearing a Whoop strap. I've had Whoop for 5, maybe 6 years now, and it's a wearable that gives me health and fitness data based on my workouts and my recovery. But this is not the only one. This is very prominent in CrossFit, but the Aura rings are also prominent tech that happen more and more and more. And you could even argue that artificial intelligence has entered the chat, so to speak, as one of the technologies that is influencing the CrossFit space, including with workouts, because I know of people that use artificial intelligence like ChatGPT to write workouts for CrossFit applications, or to create a custom CrossFit workout to do in a hotel room or for a client or whatever. So the technology has started to enter this space in a new way as well. And I've noticed that there's a significant shift in the direction of longevity and quality of life over competitiveness in CrossFit. We're talking about people training for health span versus high performance or doing well at a competition on the weekend. Now, it's a generality because it's not the case for everybody. Some people definitively do better having a competition to train for. Some people thrive on having that as a training focus, and then that is a thing to get ready for, and then that's a thing to do on a weekend, is going to compete in CrossFit. For some people, that's very motivating and exciting. But I would say that generally speaking, globally speaking, there's a much higher level of emphasis and priority on health span, quality of life. I do CrossFit because it makes me better able to go out and kick butt as a husband, a father, a parent, a spouse, a friend, an athlete in these other sports that I also do. And this is certainly the case for me. I have taken the fitness that I've gotten from CrossFit and I apply it to combat sport, and I apply it to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and kickboxing, and I apply it to snowboarding. My son applies it for getting ready for basketball. We have lots of athletes here that use it to get ready for wrestling or baseball. We have people that are pickleball athletes, and CrossFit is the strength, the conditioning program to give them the best possible fitness to apply for that. So there is that as well, just improving quality of life and pursuits outside of the gym. Interestingly, a lot of the competitive outlets have also evolved in times recently. High Rocks has really taken off. High Rocks being an endurance-based, known workout application of CrossFit, meaning with High Rocks, you can know exactly what the event you're preparing for is. It's very endurance-based. It's designed to be a spectator sport in a way that's more comparable across the entire world. It's interesting. That has taken off. High Rocks as an outlet for CrossFitters to have a fun new challenge. DecaFit is another one. Grid League took off for a minute, although I think that Grid League is starting to quickly fade as well. All of these things do appeal to CrossFitters, as does like the Spartan race thing as well. But at CrossFit Edwardsville, I said we definitely see more members valuing strength, longevity, mastering strict basics, using fitness as a foundation for life outside the gym. And all things considered, that's probably a good evolution. It's a healthy evolution. So the next question is, where are we headed next from here? This is very subjective, obviously, but we have noticed a blurring of the lines between what is truly CrossFit, what is functional bodybuilding, what is tactical training, what is strength training, what is hybrid endurance racing. I certainly have become a part of this evolution as I become more and more involved with the tactical games type training, as I help people to do some functional bodybuilding, as I see people use this as a way of just being a better parent. All of these changes are probably good things. That said, like in Glassman's MetFix, it could influence some affiliates to revisit a more minimalist or wellness-driven fitness over sport and competition. That could be happening as well. That said, my own personal prediction is that the community will always be king. There's the most powerful thing about CrossFit has always been the community of people coming together and pushing each other to be outside of their comfort zones and do more than they can do on their own. A big draw of CrossFit is having a room full of people to do these super challenging workouts with you so that you don't have to do them alone, and because all of us will do more when we've got fun people that we like around us pushing us to do more. Yeah. I also see a much higher emphasis on zone 2 type cardio in the CrossFit space amongst skilled programmers. And what that means is zone 2 cardio, where you're very specifically and intentionally staying in a 60 to 70% of your max heart rate threshold. That specific zone, we call zone 2, of your heart rate is a place where the aerobic base is built. CrossFit historically has always been very high intensity. And zone 2 is actually bearing out. The evidence is showing that it's a very, very effective way of building a broader fitness through specifically avoiding the intensity and doing a lower, less difficult, but more sustained over time kind of approach, a lower intensity aerobic building kind of approach that I think has been historically overlooked in the CrossFit space is really getting a lot of traction now. Major shout out to Dr. Peter Attia for being a big part of this conversation. And I think that it's very good for smart programmers in the CrossFit space to start bringing in zone 2 as a very specific piece of the programming, something that you do intentionally and regularly, so that we can all have that more well-rounded type of fitness that better translates to all areas of life. So to kind of recap, CrossFit is evolving from performance sport to lifestyle fitness and beyond. But I want to hear from you guys. Like, what do you think? What shifts have you felt in the CrossFit space? Do you see, like I see, that there's less of an emphasis on competition? The sport side of things has less draw, less appeal, that those of us who do CrossFit typically are not doing it as the goal is CrossFit. More of us are doing it as the goal is all the other things in life that CrossFit gives us. I want to hear from you guys. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. For now, thank you for the gift of your time and your attention, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more useful tools and guidance, go to CrossFitEdwardsville.com and feel free to like, share, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment sections down below. See you in the next episode.